Welcome, sports fans, to Application Problem Module 5. Go ahead and turn to your next blank page in your journal. Label the top of your page M5L9 for Module 5, Lesson 9, and please include today's date. Cut out your problem 9 and glue it to the top of the page. Press the pause the video to get your paper ready, then press play when you're ready to continue. Let's get started. Looks like today's problem is going to deal a little bit with basketball. So to solve our problem today, we will use the RDW strategy. The first step is to read the problem through one time and try and visualize what the problem is about. And then we're going to go back and we will circle all of our numbers and then underline what the problem wants to know. So if you would, whisper read this problem while I read it out loud. The table to the right represents the halftime score at a basketball game. The red team scored 19 points in the second half. The yellow team scored 13 points in the second half. A. Who won the game? B. By how much did that team win? So let's take a look at the table over here at the right. And I know that this table tells me what the score is at halftime. So if I look, the red team scored 63 points at halftime, and then the yellow team had 71 points by halftime. So now I want to come over here and I want to circle 19 and I'm going to circle 13 because those are two numbers that I see along with my scores at halftime. Then I want to underline what the problem wants me to solve for. And the first thing it wants me to solve for, it wants to know who won the game. Now I know I can't go by this table by itself because I have to remember that this is the scores at halftime. So you may want to go ahead and underline or circle halftime to help you to remember that these scores here were scored at halftime. Then question B wants to know by how much did the team win? Alright, so the first thing we need to do now that we have read the problem and we have found our important details is we want to draw and label a tape diagram. The tape diagram, remember, is what helps you understand and identify the whole amount in the problem and the parts of the problem. So go ahead and pause the video and make your tape diagram. When you're finished, press play and we'll continue together. Alright, I want to take a look at my tape diagram. So here is the tape diagram I drew. I start out with the red team because I know that if I look at my chart, the red team scored in the first half 63 points. Then what I don't know is what the red team scored. Then I know that in the second half they scored 19 more points. So my tape diagram shows me the two parts. It doesn't give me the whole amount. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to add 63 and 19 together to find the sum. Let's take a look at the yellow team. In the first half, I know that the yellow team scored 71 points. Then in the second half, they scored 13 more points. Again, I have to figure out who won the game. So I'm going to, now that I've drawn and labeled my tape diagram, I need to create a number sentence and write it out as an equation. So now go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to solve the problem 63 plus 19. You can use whatever strategy that you would like to solve. I'm going to use the arrow notation, since in lesson 9 we have been working with arrow notations. After you have solved your problem, press play and let's check our answers together. So to solve my problem, I said 63 plus 19. And I said an arrow notation, but I was wrong. I forgot that I used the decomposing, where I broke a number down. When I look at 63 plus 19, I know that I can easily make the number 19 into the nearest 10. And to do that, all I have to do is add a 1. So I can decompose or break apart 63 so that it says 62 and 1. Then I simply can go back and I can add. I can add 1 and 19 together, which gives me 20. So then my new problem will be 62 plus 20 equals 82, because I added the 1 and 9 to give me 20, and then that left me 62, and I have to add 62 and 20 together, and that gives me 82. So I know that the red team had a total score of 82. Next, I need to solve for the yellow team. So go ahead and pause your video to solve for the yellow team. Now, to solve this time I am going to use the arrow way to help me solve. So as soon as you finish solving, press play and we'll check our answers together. All right, so I said 71 because that's the total of points they had at halftime, plus 13, that's the total of points that they scored in the second half. And I then was able to do arrow notation, or the arrow way. And I simply said 71 plus 10 gives me 81, and then 81 plus 3 more gives me 84. And when I check, I know that I have 10 there, and then I have 3, which equal 13. And so 71 plus my 13 equals 84. So the yellow team actually scored the total points of 84. Now I need to go ahead and write this problem, because I've now written the problem out and I've solved it. So next thing I need to do is to write it in a complete sentence. If you did not come up with the saved answers, go ahead and pause your video and go back and solve it correctly. Then write the answer in a complete sentence. And when you return, we will read my complete sentence together. For my complete sentence, I said the yellow team won the game. They scored 84 points while the red team scored 82 points. Now let's look at problem B. B wants to know by how much did that team win? So I know that the yellow team won the game, and I need to find out by how many points they won that game. So the first thing I want to do is to make a tape diagram to help me understand my whole and my parts. So when I'm thinking about this, I know that the whole amount of points scored was 84, and that the red team only scored 82. So to figure out how many more points the yellow team won by, I can do one of two problems. But first, I want to show you my tape diagram. If you haven't completed your tape diagram, go ahead and pause the video, complete your tape diagram, and then press play when you're ready to join me. For my tape diagram, I said that I know that the yellow team scored a total of 84 points. The red team had a total of 82 points. So I needed to find out exactly how many more points the yellow team scored than the red team. So to make my equation, I simply said 84 minus 82 equals 2. Simple mental math problem. So if you have not written your equation down, go ahead and do so and do the operation of subtraction. Now that you've solved to come up with 2, I need to write this answer in a complete sentence. So my complete sentence is the yellow team won by 2 points. Great job today, mathematicians. I hope that you were able to come up with the same answers as I did. If not, please go back and watch the video again to help you understand what you may have missed. If you have any questions, please ask your teachers. So until next time, ta-ta.